I'm impressed with myself 'cause she loves me. Yes, I must be a hell of a guy, 'cause she's cute, she's cool, she's nobody's fool, but she melts when I catch her eye. I don't know what I got, but she digs it. I don't want to analyze it to death. I know she makes me feel like a really big deal. And man, I'm impressed with myself. And I'm impressed with the way she responds to my touch a couple of times in a row. Never has anybody ever wanted me so much, and I don't want to let that go. I'm not given to self-adulation. All my mirrors are up on the shelf, but I like what I see when she's looking at me. And man, I'm impressed with myself. And I'm impressed with the way she responds to my touch 1, 2, 3 times in a row. No, never has anybody ever wanted me so much. And brother, you can bet that I don't want to let that go. I don't know what I got, but she likes it, so I'm not gonna overthink it to death. I know she makes me feel like a really big deal. I feel like the heel who invented the wheel. I'll say it again and I'll give it a rest, but damn, I'm impressed with myself. I'm impressed with myself. It's not like me to like me, but I'm impressed with myself. Yeah, yeah. And I'm impressed with the way she responds to my touch.
Oh, great stuff. Dennis Locorriere.
Thanks.
Playing live here on Radio 2. And it is amazing, isn't it, Dennis, through the years, how we kind of bumped into one another. Time goes by between meetings.
I'll tell you what, man. You were one of the first faces I saw here when they did Whistle Test. I mean, when Hook was on the Whistle Test, that show, because we were on a couple of times. We were on once with Joan Armatrading.
Yeah.
Once with Otway and Barrett.
Yes.
Where he fell off the amplifier doing Core Baby Really Free. And then you guys, after those two performances, you gave us the whole show, which we never could figure out. And we changed behind the sheet. And
well, there
was so much stuff that we did. And, you know, people either loved it or wanted to kill us. Because I had so many serious musicians come to me after that and say, they gave you 34 minutes and you just dicked around for 15 of it. You know what I mean? They couldn't believe that. But it was a cool thing to do.
Well, that was a notorious moment, wasn't it? This changing behind the sheet.
We came out dressed as the Bay City Rollers or something, and we mimed our new single on a fast speed. And then we changed back to our own clothes with a sheet held in front of us. 2 roadies held a sheet. And
that's right.
Had they dropped the sheet, national exposure would have been exactly exactly what we would have got.
And more.
Yes.
Because there was some backlighting.
Yes.
So the sheet was sort of semi-transparent as you were changing behind it.
Oh, you know, we did naked concerts in Copenhagen. We just kept doing it until somebody noticed, quite honestly. You know, that was the whole deal. You don't want to take your clothes off and nobody even says anything.
And then spin forward, 32, 33 years, and there we were on stage together. In January last year at the Roundhouse.
That was such a cool thing for me. You know, I said something to you that you actually told the audience when I walked into rehearsals the first day. I looked around the room. It was John Lord and Bill Wyman and Paul Weller and, you know, and I said, man, it's like hanging out with my record collection. It really was.
And
it was unbelievable for me, you know?
Stole your line.
No, well, you gave me credit. You said,
yes,
I
did.
You know what was really interesting about that is I was the only one at that benefit that really didn't know Jim Capaldi, because that's who it was for. I was just a Traffic fan, and my manager John Taylor managed Jim for the last 26 years of his life. And I said to John, come on, man, I'm a Traffic fan, can't I come sing some backgrounds? And John said, I don't really think of you as a background singer. And I said, sometimes I'm the only voice on the Hook records. But I snuck my way in. I mean, it was just because I used to see Traffic all the time at the Fillmore when I was a kid. Great band. But I really wormed my way into that. You know?
Wasn't that a beautiful evening, though?
It was great. It was so cool.
One of the reasons that it resonated so beautifully also was because, of course, Anina Capaldi, Jim's widow, helped, or, you know, she was the organizer of it, and she wanted to do it at the Roundhouse because it was one of the first venues that she visited with Jim when she moved over to London.
I'd never played there. I'd never even been in the Roundhouse till then.
And it's beautiful now, isn't it? Because it's been refurbished and it looks really good.
It was a really great night because everything just moved along.
Yeah.
And it was just, I couldn't believe when it was over because it was one of those things we rehearsed for a week and it was over in 20 minutes. It's horrible.
Yeah.
And when you rehearse that hard, you want to go on the road. Everybody was backstage saying, can't we do it like at least one more time? We know it now. You know, because rehearsing is weird. Rehearsing is just, you can only get it so good. You know what I mean? It's sort of, you can't, until you get the audience out there, nobody really knows what they're doing. You know where you start, you know what you stop, and until you roll in that audience, it's hard to know, you know?
Well, the other thing about that, you know, Dennis, is that often, isn't it, on those sort of nights where you've got a lot of different artists all coming up, one after the other, it can be quite chaotic sometimes, can't it? But this one wasn't. It ran beautifully, didn't it? Mark Rivera.
I was just going to say, you know, that's a special guy there, Mark.
He was the musical director.
Yes, and this is a guy, he's Billy Joel's musical director and has been for years. He did those Ringo Starr, those All-Star. You know, this is a guy, to talk about your record collection, this is a guy that somehow walks the line between being an unbelievable fan of all these people and then having to tell them what to do.
Yes.
You know, and I said to him, man, there's not a lot of people like you know, because it's really true.
It's true.
He organizes them all, you know, and I'd see these guys. I don't want to go up and tell Paul Weller or Simon Kirke or Andy Newmark or John Lord or Ray Cooper what they should be playing.
Or in particular, Pete Townsend.
Yeah. But Pete played alone.
Yes, he did.
He was it, but it was a great week. It was really a cool week, but it was over much too fast.
Yeah. And one of the aspects of it, of course, that also is so important, it was all raising money for Aninia's charity.
Yeah.
This is a children's charity in Rio, in Brazil, and you know, a lot of the money was siphoned off and sent to Brazil to support the kids over there. And there is a DVD of the evening, isn't there?
I haven't seen it. I can't watch anything when I'm in it, but I heard it's good. It's great.
Really...
It has to be good because it was a great night, you know. And I was so full of the evening and that week that I said to Terry Taylor, who plays with Bill Wyman, and Bill, hey, you know, if you guys are ever playing, I'd like to come and sit in with you guys. And they went, yeah, we'll think about it. And, you know, in October, months later, I get the call and they say, do you want to do that? And I say, yeah, where should I be? And they said, whole tour. So now I'm in the rhythm. Now I'm an an R&B all-star, and I'm back into rehearsals with my record collection. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, no, it's great. It's great. It's really cool, you know, because I love the history I have with Hook. I really do. I think it's a great, illustrious history, but it's nice to step out of the box, you know, because I was saying to you before, my best review, when I did that Capaldi thing, most people were going, who's this guy? You know, and if that's followed with, who's this guy? He's pretty good. That's a great review, because then it's not your reputation preceding you. It's just like face value. No matter who you are, oh, that's good. Who is this guy? You know?
That's it. Well, one moves on.
I did Glastonbury a couple of years ago, acoustic, just me and a guitar on the main stage, billed as the stupidest man alive, you know. And I went out there, and the only time I was relaxed was while I was on stage. For the weeks before it, I was waking up in the middle of the night, because I was on after the opera and the symphony, and before Joss Stone, and James Brown was on that day, and Christy Moore, and I thought, well, I must be in there. And I went out and just started with a song I'd never played before, you know, and you just go for it once you're out there, you know. But it was really cool because people were going, who is this guy? He's pretty good. And then I played something they knew, and it was like, oh, I've known this guy for 30 years. But you don't want to lead with the familiar stuff unless you have to. And I would rather just, take it as it comes.
So what are you going to play for us now?
I'm going to play a song I wrote with a friend of mine named Leroy Preston. Leroy was one of the originators of a band you'll know, Asleep at the Wheel.
Oh, yes.
Leroy and Ray Benson.
Yes. Austin, Texas.
Yeah, they started this band. And what was cool about them is that they were a bunch of long-haired hippies, and they were playing all Bob Wills and fiddle songs, and people never knew how to take them because they looked like the Hells Angels, and they played like the Bob Wills. And Leroy's a good mate of mine. I don't see him anymore, but we wrote this song, and it's kind of from a female perspective. It's called Dance on Daddy's Feet. And people like it. This is one of those songs I've been playing for the last 3 years, and it's on my next album.
Okay.
You know, I'm backlogged, so I'll play it for you. Gets home after 6 bite to eat. She pours a glass of wine and tries to ease her mind and rest her tired feet. She stumbles through her mail, a few bills, a sweater sale. Too many of her days seem to end this way. Whatever happened to running home after school? The laughter in her eyes, the color in her cheeks. Back when she knew for sure she'd burst right through the door, to be lifted off the floor, to dance on Daddy's feet. Wakes up in her chair, the TV is off the air, she's all alone. She rubs her eyes and stares, for just a minute there she thought she was back home. She stops to feed the cat, adjust the thermostat. She switches out the lights like every other night. To her warm and cozy room, where she heard fairy tales before she fell asleep. Wherever in the world now is that little girl who loved to twirl around and dance on Daddy's feet? With her hands wrapped round his fingers, she'd go sailing round and round. Such a safe and happy feeling, and her feet, oh, they never touch the ground. No. Whatever happened to running home after school? The laughter in her eyes, the color in her cheeks. Wherever in the world now is that little girl who loved to twirl around and dance on Daddy's feet. She would dance on Daddy's feet. Oh, 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 dance on Daddy's feet. Yeah, dance on Daddy's feet.
It's Dennis Locorriere playing live here on Radio 2. This is the Bob Harris Show through until 2 o'clock in the morning. And just sort of breaking it down into the sort of hook section of the career, Dennis, and the solo career.
Yeah.
Because Dr. Hook, now this was a very prolific group too, wasn't it? I mean, you put out a lot of singles and a lot of albums quickly.
Well, and we were on the road like nearly 300 days a year for like 15 years.
Yeah.
But that's the way you did it back then. You didn't send a film. You know, nobody would ever know if we didn't just keep doing our laundry and getting back on the road. And that was the deal. That was how you did it.
So how many albums were there?
I think there were like 13 studio albums and a live album. And like I said, lots and lots of radio visits. And, Ray and I in the early days would take a guitar and blitz radio stations, you know, when you could get in America and just walk in with a guitar and say, oh, no, didn't they tell you? I mean, like, force our way. You can't do that anymore, but we would just force our way on the air. You know? Yeah, we were booked. We had kids going, oh, really? And, you know, just force our way on the air. But that was the way you did it back then.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, so solo albums then, Dennis, how many?
I have 2 solo albums, studio albums out, and a live one, and 2 DVDs, one of my solo acoustic show, and then we did that Hits in History tour last year. Yeah. Which was pretty cool. You know, I'm not really a guy that likes to just hark back and lay on his laurels, you know, because I think you get fat and lazy that way. Yep. But it seemed like the time to do it. And I put a band together. We went out and did wall-to-wall Hook stuff. And what was cool was there were people that came to that show that hadn't thought about me or Hook since they were buying vinyl. You know, and then their kids grew up, and you know what I mean? And they went and had their own lives, and now all of a sudden they're like, oh, we can go see, this guy's still alive, we'll go see him. And they brought their kids, and now when I play solo, my audience has changed again. because of that. So it's nice every once, but I could not go on all these tours forever. There's something, because I love what I do, and I love the history, and people think because I don't do it all the time that I don't appreciate it. I don't do it all the time because I do appreciate it. You know what I mean? I don't want to be singing Sylvia's Mother in a Chicken in a Basket place, singing the hits to tape at Butlin's. I mean, I don't want to do that. I respect it. I don't want to do it.
And the temptation is there in a way, isn't it? Because particularly now, Dennis, you see so many bands that are reforming for that final sort of money-spinning tour.
Yeah. Well, it's heady. It's heady because, you know what's nice for me? The last 5 years or so, I've just gone out with a guitar, mostly. And it breaks it down to a guy singing a song. And whether it was a multi-million seller, or whether it was something I wrote this afternoon, it's a guy singing a song. And I think it's kind of, to the audience I have now, it's kind of made it all of a piece. Because now it's more about a guy up on stage than any one particular song. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
Because it really is lovely to have the history. But, you wind up competing with yourself. You wind up waking up in the morning and looking in the mirror and going, oh, it'll never be what it used to be. And that's just a horrible thing to do. I'm lucky though, because I have the audience that they kind of like to hear the new songs, because that's what you want. If you've had an illustrious career, you want it to beg the question, so what are you doing now? Otherwise it's like going up to an attractive older person and saying, boy, I bet you used to be gorgeous. It's like, hey, shut up, I know what you mean, but it's not exactly flattering, and I think people appreciate the fact that, I hope at least my fans appreciate that I don't just run it into the ground, that I want them to hear something new, and they don't go to the loo when I play something new. That's the nice thing, is when I say, here's something I just wrote, it's not like, oh, time to pee. I know, I mean, it really isn't, and that's really cool. I like it's flattering.
But, the other thing about all of this, Dennis, is that, the warmth that comes in from people who are into you and what you do. For example, Stig of the Dump,
yes,
says all this, and he still finds time to meet and greet his fans, old and new, after every show, and regularly leaves very entertaining blogs, poems, or general musings on his own website. So, but by that, I take this to mean the contact that you have with your fans, really, and how close and how warm that is, and how much they appreciate the time that you give in that respect.
Well, it's only me now. When I was the lead singer of a band, even when the band, in the old Dr. Hook shows, there was always a section of the show where the band would walk off the stage and leave me out there alone. And I would do 5-10 minutes, but I never really felt justified speaking first person, because there was still very much an us and a we. And it took me a while to even realize I was allowed to do that. But now it's just me, and I feel like I should, it's really easy now. Nobody goes, hey, so which one is Dr. Hook? Because it's only me and a table. And they watch us and they figure out the table isn't going to do anything, and then I must be the star of the show. But I kind of like that. I tried to have a MySpace page. Too many people. I don't need 80,000 friends, 80 million friends. I really don't. That thing where you're just friends because they know where you are. I like this. I like the way it is. And my website is great. These two girls, Sam and Claire, run it. And it's just a cool website. It's got everything you could want to know about me and probably more. I never go there because I can't stand to watch it. The only thing I've ever learned by watching myself is don't. No, really, because I don't learn anything, I go, oh, really? Is that how I'm holding my mouth when and I get self-conscious about stuff I've been doing for 30 years, so there's no point looking at it now.
Yes. It's like for, people on the radio, if I ever do a pre-record or there's something of mine on tape that goes out, I never listen to it.
No, I'm not a good judge.
You're always finding the things that are wrong.
That nobody's going to, a long time ago, we used to play the Troubadour in L.A. all the time, great club, and play there for a couple of nights. And I used to do this bass solo around our bass player. Instead of taking the bass, I used to just kind of play him, and do this thing. And then I'd take the bass and I'd play this thing. And one night, this woman came to me and said, I've been here for the last couple of nights, and you do this, when you do that bass solo, you do this really sexy thing. And I went, no. And she explained it to me. And every night for the rest of the week, I went on stage and tried to do this really sexy thing. And it was the most pathetic. I don't know what I did. And I never did it again, apparently, because somebody pointed it out. But there's not a lot of point in, not a lot of sense in pinpointing it.
Exactly,
any
because
particular thing.
I always think, certainly for myself, it's much, much better if I don't think about it.
No.
Whatever it is I'm doing, if I don't think about it, just be instinctive about it.
No, this thing I'm going to do in like 2 weeks, we start these Rhythm Kings thing, and this is all of a sudden me in somebody else's band. This is all of a sudden me, and I'm not doing Hook or my stuff. We're playing, Marvin Gaye and, like I said, R&B stuff, and it's going to be great. It's going to be all the stuff I didn't get to do in bar bands, because as soon as I was a kid, I was in Hook. But it's daunting to be in someone else's band, because it doesn't quite feel natural yet. Like you just said, you want to just go and let it be natural, but I don't know anyone, and they don't know me, and so I'm anticipating a bunch of stuff I can't possibly anticipate because I don't know it.
It's a lovely organic thing, though, isn't it? Bill Wyman's band. I mean, the personnel come and go, and I always think, if you're in Bill Wyman's Rhythm Kings, then it's kind of a stamp of approval.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
I mean, I really, I was amazed that they wanted me to do the whole tour, but I'm amazed. I just remembered those 2 songs of mine because my head is full of Chicken Shack Boogie, and I put a spell on you and all sorts of stuff.
Well, can you remember another one for us?
I will. I'll play something. I'll tell you what. Can I walk the line between me and the Rhythm Kings?
Yeah, go on.
Unchain my heart, baby, let me go. Unchain my heart, 'cause you don't love me no more. Why do you leave me here in misery when you don't care a bag of beans for me? So unchain my heart, set me free. Unchain my heart, baby, let me be. Unchain my heart, 'cause you don't care about me, no. Each time I call you on the telephone, some fella tells me that you're not at home. So unchain my heart, set me free. I'm under your spell, like a man in a trance, and you know darn well that I don't stand a chance. So unchain my heart, baby, let me go. Unchain my heart, 'cause you don't love me no more. Why do you leave me here in misery when you don't care a bag of beans for me? So unchain my heart, baby, set me free. Baby, set me free. Baby, set me free. I'm under your spell, like a man in a trance, and you know damn well that I don't stand. No, I don't stand a chance. So unchain my heart, baby, let me go. Unchain my heart, 'cause you don't love me no more. You got me sewed up like a pillowcase, but you are letting my love go to waste. So unchain, baby, unchain my heart. Unchain my heart, baby, set me free. Baby, set me free. Hey, set me free, little girl. Set me free. Free. Set me free. Set me free, little girl.
Wow. Wow, that was fantastic. What a great... Ray Charles never sounded as good.
You know something? That song is the thing I opened with at Glastonbury.
Right.
Because I couldn't figure out if I should do a Hook song or something of mine. So I was listening to Ray Charles' Greatest Hits that morning, and this song came on, and I thought, well, I'll do that one. And I'd never sung it before, but I'm real good at scaring myself. No, because I figured if I could get through that, Be easy to get through the ones I knew.
Fantastic.
I think we're going to do a version of that with the Rhythm Kings.
Okay.
But they got a horn section and stuff. It's going to be so cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I've got to just get you to do a little bit of Amy Winehouse, because everybody.
No, I don't know why. You know, I was going to sing this song about the right to walk. It was a song I wrote called "The Right to Walk Away," and I love Amy Winehouse. I actually went to see her in Brighton, which was the last show before she packed it in. But it wasn't. I was doing a song. I was just singing. a little chorus of it. We only said goodbye with words. I cried 100 times. You go back to him and I go back to. We only said goodbye with words. I died 100 times. You go back to him and I go back to black. That's all I was doing. I didn't do the whole song because it's from,
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
but what it appears to me is that you have a great ear to be able to pick up, songs that you hear and just translate them into your own style and do it really easily and really quickly.
I guess. I mean, I like that. I think that's, when you do if you do a cover version, that you should do it like you only know the song. Not like you know the record. I used to have a band in Nashville called Lost in Detroit, and we used to do all these R&B songs, and we used to do, we did like the last time by the Rolling Stones, only we did it R&B, and we used to do Hide Your Love Away by the Beatles like Otis Redding, and we used to make believe that someone pitched us the song, but that we never heard the original record.
Yes.
You know what I mean? If somebody
Yes, I
just
do.
sang you the song and it didn't have that arrangement and all those things, how would you play it?
Yes.
And we used to do that. And I think, because we had that big hit with Only 16, the Sam Cooke song.
Yeah.
And that was just a song that I liked because I'm a big Sam Cooke fan. And one night when I told you the band wandered off stage, Ray said, sing something. And I sang She Was Only 16. At that point, I had a long coat and a long beard, and I probably looked like a perv. And, probably looked like she was under my coat, But people seemed to like it, and we recorded that just on a whim, and it was the song that pulled us out of bankruptcy and stuff. So, see, if you can do those things naturally, you can't calculate. It's so hard to calculate anything.
And funnily enough, this week, I think it's this week that you send me, brought Sam Cooke into the UK chart for the first time in 58, all those years ago.
See, my mom, I've said this before, and I'm always reticent to say that because it feels like, it's some showbiz story. But when I was a kid, my mom was only 19 when I was born. So when I was, 5, 6 years old, she was only in her early 20s. She was and her friends used to see Sam Cooke and his brother sing in Philadelphia and stuff when they were gospel singers.
Yes.
And I remember her saying when I was maybe 10, he came on the Ed Sullivan Show, and she'd say, "Oh, I know him." And I used to think, yeah, right. And we went to Palisades Amusement Park. Remember that? You used to sing about that place? And
Freddie Cannon.
Yeah. And it was a big amusement park. And he was playing. And he did this show, and he sang all these great songs. And at the end of the night, he was signing autographs. And my mother kind of just went, "Sam." And he looked up and he went, "Ruth, it's nice to see you again." And that was the whole exchange. But for me,
whoa.
I was thinking, should I tell people Sam Cooke's my dad? I mean, And then I realized, now if you tell him anything like that. But what was nice about the Full Circle is that when we had a gold record for that song, Only 16, I gave one to my mom. His name was on it, her name was on it, my name was on it. So it was nice.
Yeah.
And that's not something you can call.
That's right.
That just happens if you keep breathing in and out.
Yes. So I just want to wrap things up now with, the sort of loose ends. Your website address, Dennis.
It's just DennisLocorriere.com.
Okay.
And if you, and the girls were so smart that if you misspell my name, you could practically type hamburger and get DennisLocorriere.com because so many people, I answer everybody's page at the airport just in case they mean Locorriere,
Yeah.
But it's DennisLocorriere.com, and there really is more on there about me than you could possibly want to know.
Also on my site, we've got all the pictures from the Jim Capaldi tribute night, and that's bobharris.org, O-R-G. The Rhythm Kings tour starts.
It starts in Scotland on January 24th, and there's 31 dates. And I mean, there's like 5 days off in the whole 6 weeks. So there's all over the place. All over the place.
And the new album, Dennis.
That's also on my website, too. I mean, that tour is listed on there, too.
And the new album?
The new album, I'm going to record it after that. And I'm thinking, I think I even have a title for it. Should I blurt that out?
Yeah,
I want to call the album Post-Cool.
Okay. Post-cool.
Post-cool.
As opposed to neo-cool.
Post as in way too late to think about it. Cool now.
Well, in that case, you are neo-cool. And you've given me a song to play tonight. Now, is this something brand new?
It's, you know, it's a song that's, there's a version on my first album. It's a song I wrote for my son when he was 18. And now, you know, I always joke and say he's, you know, older than me now. But it's a song I wrote for him. And people always like it. I've gotten such a great response. And we recorded a new version of it last year that was supposed to be an American single. And they lost interest. It's like, you know, unless you can, you know, and the thing about America is, you know, you have to set yourself on fire in New York and hope somebody smells the smoke in Los Angeles.
Yes.
And it just got, oh, we don't know. It started with, yeah, it's a great idea. You got so much support over here. And then it was, well, is he the guy with the eye patch? And it went all wonky. But I love the song and people like it. So it's as a download on my, for a minimal, you can get the, because people always ask me for the lyrics to this song. So for a minimal charge, I don't know what it is, less than $1, you can get the track and the lyrics to the song. And people like it. It's just this particular song that, it's the closest thing I got to White Christmas.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because it's just
is
one of those songs. And I didn't know it again. When I wrote it for Jess. I didn't know anybody else was ever going to hear it. I certainly didn't think it was going to have that kind of impact. But I had a guy come to me one night and say, you know, I don't have any kids, but I have a dad. I hope he feels that way about me.
Yeah.
And you just don't know. The perks are the things that happen that you don't know, which is most of it.
So this is all a pointer to the lyrics of this song, isn't it, Dennis? And
yeah, more or less.
Yeah,
people tell me this is what they'd like to say to their
absolutely.
kid. Yeah.
Well, listen, this is just, I've enjoyed this so much. Thanks for coming in.
Hey, you know, I live over here, Bob, so if you ever have a guest and they fall out, I can be here in an hour.
We'll just give you a call. Absolutely.
I'll leave my guitar in the corner just in case.
Joe will look after it.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Anyway, this is Dennis Locorriere, and this is Shine Sun.
Thanks, Bob. Thanks, Bob. Sometimes I expect a little too much. Sometimes I push too hard, trying to see what you will be. I lose sight of who you are. You're still a young man with the world in your hands to mold any way you choose. Your dream and mine are one of a kind. We both want the best for you. I just want to see you shine, sun, as bright as you can. You're an exceptional boy. You'll be a hell of a man. And whatever you decide to do, just give it your best, and that'll be fine. I just wanna see you shine, sun. Wanna see my sun shine. Watched you crawl, stumble and fall. I've watched you live and learn, to give and to take, and how a heart breaks, and how our lives twist and turn. You don't have to be the reflection of me. You don't have to fill my shoes. But if you need a hand, you know your old man. will always be here for you. I just wanna see you shine, son, as bright as you can. You're an exceptional boy. You'll be a hell of a man. And whatever you decide to do, just give it your best, and that'll be fine. 'Cause I just wanna see you shine, son. Wanna see my sunshine. Yes, I just wanna see you shine, son. Wanna see my sunshine.
It is a lovely song, isn't it? Shine Sun is the title of it. That's Dennis Locorriere, and many, many thanks to Dennis for his music during the last, 45, 50 minutes of the show.
Radio 2 celebrates the wit and wisdom.